I'm Kirsten. I'm with Ambler Nutrition, and I'm expanding into the Springhouse area, and I'm going to call my company Springhouse Nutrition. So I'm here with Center on the Hill, helping them with diabetes class. I'm so glad to see everybody. Thank you for coming. It's a great snowy day, so my room is very well lit with all the snow. And I typically have my green conversation map with my journey going all through our journey with diabetes. Today, I want to use a couple other videos, not videos, pages. So let me just get my Zoom link a little bit bigger so I can see everybody and see myself. Here we are. Okay, good. So with diabetes, now this is a diabetes nutrition class. I'm going to talk a little bit about diabetes, a little bit about nutrition, and just the goal of living healthy with diabetes. There's many diseases we could all have. Diabetes is not so bad right now. It's just knowing how to understand how your blood sugar can increase and the problems for that. So we don't want to have your blood sugar increase, and we want to keep you healthy and active. That's the most important thing. So this page really just talks about medications and things that can go wrong with diabetes. I think we talked about some people are new to diabetes. I just want to explain sugar is a very big molecule. It's huge, and it can't go like iron and calcium and sodium. They can go from the bloodstream right through the cell membrane and into the cells, but sugar can't. It's too big. So we need to have these insulin receptors. They're keys that open a door. The insulin receptor is a door, and the insulin, when you have something to eat, you have high blood sugar, because you ate something, and then the insulin comes, your pancreas gives you some insulin, and the insulin goes into the insulin receptor, opens the door, and then now the sugar could leave the bloodstream and get into the cells. So then you end up with low blood sugar, they call it. You don't have a lot in your bloodstream, and your cells are happy because they get the food. The problem is when we have insulin resistance, and the insulin comes, but the receptors don't accept it, or we have our pancreas doesn't give us hardly any insulin, so it only opens one or two of the many doors that can be on our cells. So that's the gist of how diabetes works. The insulin doesn't work either. It can't get into the receptors, or there's just not enough of it. There is a couple different kinds of diabetes. I think you heard about type 1. This is where there's either no pancreas, or there's the pancreas, but there's no B cells that make insulin. So those people have to have insulin either injected. There's a new one, Afrezza, that you can inhale. And there's a long-acting one that you would take once or twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, or just once at night. And then there's the fast-acting ones for when you're having a meal. So that's for type 1, where they have no insulin at all. Type 2, people all have a little bit of insulin. Different medications can make your pancreas give you more insulin. And then if it just doesn't work, some people who have type 2 do go on to insulin. But the thing I want to talk about today, this is my medications page. There is 8 different classes of medications now. So it's not just about getting insulin into your bloodstream to absorb the sugar. Now we can find other ways that your body puts sugar into our bloodstream. So it's not just what you eat. If you have a tooth infection, bam, your liver makes your blood sugar goes up. If you break your leg, bam, your blood sugar goes up because of the injury. Same thing with if you hopefully will not get COVID, but getting the flu or getting sick, then your blood sugar will go up as well. So we need to have ways that we can cut these ways for your blood sugar to go up. And let's just talk about the ABCs of diabetes. Is there any questions about insulin or how diabetes works?
No.
No? Okay. So there's an ABC of diabetes. The A is for your A1C. A1C is the average frosting on your red blood cells through 3 months. So let's say, your blood cells come out of your bones. They're nice and clear, and there's no sugar on them. They're kind of like a cornflake. And as for 3 months, they swim around in your sweet blood. And after 3 months, they do a test and they see how much frosting is on that little red blood cell. Is it a corn flake or is it a frosted flake? If you have 5% frosting, 5.5, that's a normal, you don't have diabetes. Your blood sugar is within the normal range. If you have blood sugar and it's between 5.7% and 6.5% frosting on those red blood cells, that's called prediabetes. And then over 6.5, like 6.6, and so that goes into actual diabetes. Some people have like 14% frosting. I mean, it can get very a lot of blood sugar can stick on those HbA1c protein modules. So when somebody wants to know your A1C, that's what they're looking at, the 3-month average of how much frosting is on your blood cells. The second one we have is blood pressure. So like I said, sugar is a big molecule. And if you have a high blood pressure, it forces that big molecule through tiny little capillaries. So we want to make sure, and tiny little capillaries, that's the structure of your kidneys. It's your nerves are all fed by little capillaries. So we want to make sure that your blood pressure is under control and less than 140/90. If it's less than that, then you should be fine. If you're on medication and every now and then you go to the doctor and it's like 135/95, that 95 is a problem. So talk to your doctor and he can modulate your medication so that you have decent blood pressure, not too little, not too much, because high blood pressure with high blood sugar, that can cause like capillary damage, and that can starve your nerves. Then you end up with nerve damage. Nerve damage can be in your feet. If you end up, I don't know, quick getting out of bed and you don't have your shoes on and you kick your toe or you step on something, you may not know it. I've had some patients who tell me they were playing golf and then they took their shoe off at the end of the 9 holes and they had a tack stuck in their heel the whole time. That's how numb their feet were. So we have to think about, having regular blood pressure, within, the 140/90, we have to have, not too much blood sugar, and then you won't have the nerve damage. Let's see. So we have the A is A1C, the B is a blood pressure, or it's also blood sugar. Again, we want our blood sugar in the morning to be between 80 and 140. So if you wake up at 135, so do people who don't have diabetes. You're perfectly fine. If you wake up and it's 145, then you have to think about, how did you go to bed? Did you go to bed with a low blood sugar and maybe your blood sugar dropped in the middle of the night, your liver gave you some sugar and you woke up in the morning with high blood sugar? Did you have a high carb dinner at night and you didn't do any exercise or drink enough water? Exercise and water can always bring your blood sugar down. So it dilutes the blood and, you burn off the sugar. So it's really great. That's the blood pressure and the blood sugar. Number C is for cholesterol. So everybody's been talking about cholesterol. They're actually thinking about using the LDL cholesterol as a signal whether or not somebody has diabetes. If your LDL is over 99, there's a very good chance that you are either on the track to have diabetes or you have diabetes now. So we want to keep, it's the only really one they're concerned with is the LDL. The HDL always for men should be over 40. For women, it should be over 50. If your HDL is 80, yay, we want that HDL to be as high as possible. It can take the LDL away, it can reduce your blood cholesterol. It's very slippery. It just keeps things working. It brings the LDL cholesterol to the liver where it can be used for other things. So you really want to have a high HDL. Again, it's over 40 for men, over 50 for women. And total cholesterol, it's a whole combination thing. Some people can be healthy at 250. Other people really need to keep it at like 199. So that's a very personal thing with your doctor, and you should talk to them about that. But big thing is looking at your LDL. The one way to bring your LDL down and bring your HDL up, exercise and water. So think about, going for a walk in the middle of the road on these icy streets. Now we want to be out where it's not icy. We want to, get out and get some sunshine. If you have an exercise bike or something, have it towards the window so you can get the sunshine in. If you want to open the window, get some fresh air, that's even better. Walking around the mall and the grocery stores, I've heard a lot of people tell me about that. I am super hesitant just because there's a lot of people whose masks are falling off. I mean, they have it on, but maybe it's, below their nose and all that kind of thing. So take if you want to go to the grocery store and get a couple things and get some exercise, I honestly, I would wear 2 masks. There's a cotton mask that you get when you do a blood test. I don't know, or the COVID test, they often give away those washable cotton masks. That's a great one to go underneath your pretty mask that you normally wear, or you could wear the surgical mask, whatever is comfortable for you, that you can breathe well, and that because the mask does protect you. So I don't know. I think you've seen a lot of celebrities now wearing the 2 masks. A little story. My husband and I are taking out our bathroom, and we're an Ambler where there could be asbestos. So unfortunately, we only had one N95 mask. My husband was wearing it. He was in there doing more of the work than I was, but still, we were in there for, I don't know, the whole morning pretty much. He was a little bit more, and I wore 2 masks. Both of our masks were completely brown on the outside. But when it came to in the afternoon, we took a shower and cleaned off. We're blowing our nose in the shower and all that kind of thing. His tissues were dark, a lot. He probably had 2 or 3 tissues that were dark, and I only had one. And I was blowing my nose and it would just come out clear. So I am feeling, and I've heard that the 2 masks is better than the N95. So take a look. It really depends on the fit and how comfortable you are. But you can always, if you wear glasses or you're having sunglasses or whatever, you tuck your mask under your glasses. That way the air can come out the sides or underneath. But that makes a great mask. So exercise, drinking water, that brings down your A1C. If you want to figure out how much water you need, take your weight in pounds and divide by 3. So if you weigh 180, divide by 3, you know that you need 60 ounces every day. And with being older, as I am, and a lot of my patients are, thinking about having a little bit more than that. So if you need 60 ounces, if you go to 80, that's perfectly fine. Especially if you're concerned about your kidneys, if you're taking a lot of medicines, that can also, lead to kidney issues. So think about your water as, a third of your weight, and then add at the most 50%. I've known some people who are drinking a gallon and they only needed 60. A gallon is 120, and they have been having kidney issues, and their kidney issues have not been getting better. So you need the water that you need, plus at the most 50% more. So I would just keep it at that range, and you should be good. It's tough to get water in these days, so think about that. Well, that's my cholesterol story. Let's see. So we start out over here in this, this is like a little bridge. And it's going to be, here you have a healthy life with diabetes, and here you're just starting out. The first one says, keep your glucose within target. Fasting blood glucose should be between 80 and 140. 2 hours after the start of a meal, you should be under 180. And then you want your A1C to be below 7% if you are 60 years or younger. If you're over 60 or 65, 7.5% is fine. They're looking at people who, if they're younger, they want their tighter control, 6.5, 7. But if they're older and maybe they recently got diabetes, 7.5. The difference between the complications of keeping your blood sugar at 6.5 compared to 7.5 are almost nothing. So they're saying, why stress yourself? At 7.5, you're in good shape. You don't want to take extra medicine if you don't need to, all that kind of thing. So it says here, the natural course of diabetes. And it says over time, you have less and less insulin. And over time, you're going to need less and less insulin from your pancreas. And over time, you're going to need more and more. And eventually, all type 2 people end up having insulin. That is not the case. This thing is from like 2014, 2016, something like that. So there have been ways that people have been able to reverse their diabetes, have less high blood sugar readings. And the key is having a lot of vegetables. We want to see at least half your day is, if you look at your meat, you want that to be a quarter of your day. Your starches is a quarter of your day of meals, and half of your meals all day long is going to be plants, whether it's vegetables or berries. Berries are not like fruit. They're tart, they don't have the carbs, and they have lots of fiber and lots of nutrition. So I would include blueberries and strawberries, cherries, blackberries, whatever a berry is, that I would count. Grapes and melons, though, are very full of water, so they don't have the carbs that peaches and peaches, apricots, pineapples. They have a lot of carbs. Grapes and watermelons mostly are water. So again, looking at the serving size, you'd need like a cup and a half of grapes or watermelon, even strawberries, to get 15 grams of carbs in. Where the pineapple, the peaches, the apples, the pears, this you only need a half a cup, and bam, you're already at 15 grams of carbs. So 15 grams is one serving. And whether you have diabetes or not, your body can handle 2 or 3 servings of carbohydrates without shooting up your blood sugar, especially if it's a balanced meal with some protein and some fat and some fiber. Those are all great things. So the natural course of diabetes, everybody is different with how they have diabetes. And if you have a healthy diet full of more vegetables, less animal protein, you will do better with your diabetes. But as for water, I need to take a drink. Just for an example, I need to have 4 or 5 glasses of water, and I can't keep track. So I've been putting some rubber bands on my glass. So I start out the day with 4 rubber bands. I drink 2, every time I drink a glass, I take a rubber band off and I fill it up again. And then I want to see 4 rubber bands at the end of the day, and I want to have no rubber bands on my glass. So that's a good way to help remember how much water you're drinking. Because now that it's cold, I mean, I just don't drink as much. And, you know, I got to think about it. So I practice what I preach, I guess, and that's what I'm telling you about. So let's see. There's different kinds of oral medications. I have this little page here. If you want to talk to me, amblernutrition.com is my website. I could put that on here, but basically there's at least 4 different categories of medications that can make your pancreas give you more insulin, or have your kidneys wash out more of the sugar. So there's the oral medications, then there's the injectable medications, and basically that's going to be a GLP-1 or insulin. The GLP-1 would be, just for example, Ozempic or Trulicity, Victoza, these kind of things. So, and then there's the insulin, and like I mentioned before, there's slow acting that lasts all day, and then there's the fast acting. So the oral medications are the ones you take a pill. There's other diabetes medications. These are the injectables. It's the insulin or the GLP-1 medications. Here they have insulin. Your body can have too much insulin. So that's why we're talking about nutrition and talking about lifestyle and figuring out how your blood sugar is, why is your blood sugar going up? Is it your food, or is it some mental, other biological issue? So biological issue besides food would be stress. It could be too much alcohol. It could be medications. Some medications increase our blood sugar, like a steroid and that kind of thing. There's not getting enough sleep. You know, if you're only getting 4 or 5 hours and you need 7 or 8, that will increase your blood sugar. When you wake up in the morning, you don't have anything to eat. After 2 hours, that will increase your blood sugar. There's another little story. I had to give blood and I couldn't get a morning appointment. I got a 12:30 appointment or something. It's 12:15. And I get there and I had to wait. So I started, first of all, I'm hungry. My blood sugar in the morning is usually between 85 and 95. So I'm a low weight. I need to have something to eat. And I get low blood sugar very quickly, unfortunately. So I didn't eat anything. It was like 12 o'clock, 12:15, 12:30. They're still like, I'm getting mad. So I'm having the stress. I haven't eaten. My blood sugar was almost 120. And my doctor's like, oh, what was going on? I was like, I was very mad and very hungry. So don't go to your doctor without food thinking that you're going to show up and he's going to prick your finger and you're going to have a low blood sugar. Even if you have foods that don't have a lot of carbohydrates in them. So maybe you would have a protein shake with berries. I mean, that could be done with almond milk that doesn't have a lot of carbohydrates, a protein powder and some berries that doesn't have. If you wanted to have eggs with spinach, again, eggs is an animal protein. So I don't recommend eggs every day, but eggs a couple times a week is not a problem. And that would be, eggs and spinach. That would be a great breakfast to have. Again, these are more protein, more fiber, more fat. If you're going to go to the doctor, I would not recommend having oatmeal. Oatmeal will absolutely raise your blood sugar. And so will breakfast cereal. Oh, yeah. So if you're going to have oatmeal, take a look at adding either a protein shake to it or adding protein powder to it. And again, I would definitely go with the protein powders that are not whey. Whey is from milk. Milk is from cows. Cow is animal protein. There's all kinds of issues with inflammation and milk. A lot of people can take it. Some people who have inflammation issues, whether you're obese or you have diabetes or you have autoimmune disease, these are all inflammation things. Often the dairy can cause problems. So take a look at soy milk. Soy milk is going to have a little bit more calories and a little more carbs, but it has protein in it, where the almond milk doesn't. So we're talking about insulin and blood sugars when you go to your doctor. If you have an afternoon appointment, definitely have breakfast and definitely have lunch. Just don't have a lot of, if you're going to have a sandwich, have an open face sandwich, one piece of bread, no fruit, that kind of thing. Let's see. So what else we got on here? Oh, short-term complications with high blood sugar so if you have high blood sugar, it's going to be fatigue and blurred vision, tiredness, thirsty, frequent urination, hunger, all of these kind of things if you have high blood sugar. It is very rare. Most people don't have any symptoms when they have a high blood sugar, and that's what makes diabetes so dangerous. Low blood sugar is brain fog, is confusion, shakiness. You might be in cold weather and you're sweating, you're just uncomfortable. That would be, it could be, and that you haven't had your food, or possibly you took too much medicine. That could be something that would cause low blood sugar. Long-term complications. So heart disease and strokes, that's the biggest thing. That's why I don't want you to have so many eggs. There's a very low density cholesterol that's in eggs. And if you have like 3 to 4 eggs a day, 5-6 days a week, it can cause atherosclerosis, and it can also really mess up your kidneys. So eggs, 2 eggs a couple times a week is not a problem. Kidney disease, again, with the high blood pressure and the high blood sugar, the microscopic tubules of your kidneys can be damaged. Eye complications. Our eyeball is amazing. It is such a complex organ. Same thing with our brain, such a complex organ. They're connected with one little nerve and one little capillary. So I have a couple patients, and they have to have this one soda, and I only go blind for like 20 minutes. It's crazy. So think about alternatives to something that's going to give you high blood sugar. The best way to reduce your blood sugar is when you're having your meal, don't have the simple carbs first. Don't have the rice and the noodles, the fruit juice, all of those things. Have them after you've had some protein, whether it's chicken or if it's tofu or if it's hummus or if it's falafels or nuts. Have a little bit of protein and the fiber of vegetables. If you're going to have broccoli and chicken, have some chicken and broccoli before you have the rice. That fat and the protein and the fiber blocks your stomach so that the carbohydrates can't get into your bloodstream so quickly. But an empty stomach and you have a glass of juice, bam. If you have low blood sugar, that's great. But if you are, watching your blood sugar, just have the fiber and the protein first. Again, that's if you go blind drinking soda, you don't want to do that. Let's see, sexual dysfunction. That's for everybody. We're a whole being. The artery is huge. It's like a McDonald's straw. You know how you can suck milkshake out of those McDonald's straws? Well, in our sexual organs, the bloodstream is like a stir stick for coffee. It's very, very small. If you're having a lot of animal protein and not very much vegetables, that can get clogged with fat. And then before you have a heart attack, your sex life is done. So I don't want that for anybody. I want us all to enjoy being on this earth. We're human people. We need that. Again, I talked about nerve damage and foot problems. Skin problems. If you have a cut, the best idea is not to let the scab form. The best idea is to get it wet with ointment, whether it's Vaseline and a Band-Aid. That is the best thing. And then check after a couple of days. hopefully it is healed within a week. If it's gone more than 5 days and that thing has not healed, go talk to your dermatologist. They have special ointments and salves and things that can make that thing heal so much better. Again, with healing, you want to have enough vitamin K in your diet. So that's going to be from leafy greens, again, spinach and cabbage, these kind of things. I know a lot of people are on blood thinners and their doctor says don't have any of that. That is not really the truth. The truth is, if you are always eating salads and then you go on, not even salads, if you have a regular vegetable with your dinner, and sometimes it's broccoli, sometimes it's cabbage, sometimes it's spinach, and you go on to a blood thinner and they say no more of those greens, no, no more excess of those greens. You keep eating how you normally ate. And if you have been on a blood thinner for like 6 months and you have not had a single green in that time, don't go ahead and have a big bowl of spinach. You want to have a little bit of time working your way up and get back to a normal range where, you know, you do have greens maybe 3 or 4 times a week. But that's one thing that we really do need. The vegetables are just so important to our health. To be on a blood thinner and them to tell you not to have any vegetables is just very frustrating to me. But anyway, so skin complications, again, that we're looking for vitamin K, that's in leafy greens, but it's also in broccoli and peas, also zinc and vitamin A, that's in like lentils and beans, vitamin A is in anything yellow. Those 3 things are really crucial. Vitamin C, there's so many vitamins. You eat your vegetables, you will get your vitamins. You don't need a multivitamin for it. Actually, they think that what's in a multivitamin is only 10% of what you get out of broccoli, for example, or carrots or tomatoes. So the more vegetables you have in your diet, who even cares about that little multivitamin? Yeah, let's see, what else do we have? Oh, gum disease. So go to your doctor every 6 months, you know, the dentist. And if you do have a toothache, call them up because that can raise your blood sugar. I had a woman, she had a perfect diet. She was exercising, drinking plenty of water, and we just couldn't figure out why her sugar was that high. And then she went like this a couple times and I'm like, is your mouth okay? And she goes, oh, I have this one tooth problem. How long have you had it? Oh, about 3 months. I'm like, go to the doctor and take care of your blood sugar. So, let's see, we want to do healthy eating. We want to keep active. Circulation, getting your heart beat so that your hands turn warm and your face is red. You don't necessarily have to sweat, but if you're getting out of breath, you know, you're improving your circulation. Circulation is like the key for helping people with diabetes. Diabetes and smoking, both of them, they have very poor circulation situations. So if you can be active after breakfast and active after dinner, you know, 10, 15 minutes, go around the block, shovel some snow, but not too much. That's heavy snow right now, so be very careful with that. Let's see. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, that's great. It here says, it just says go for your goal. Know that you're in charge of your diabetes. Everybody has diabetes differently. So if you think something is not working, contact your doctor immediately. They can change the dose, they can change the medicine. They know what your insurance takes and doesn't take. And they can do that. But you are in the driver's seat for your diabetes. Your support network is your friends and your family. In this class, I'm glad you're here. And your healthcare team, you know, for your eyes and your teeth and your skin, your heart, you know, every doctor that can, of course, your endocrinologist or your regular doctor, a lot of them can cover everything. So that is about the different medications and the different complications that can happen. Oops. And my other page, right? This is about our blood sugar. And what time is it? It is about halfway through. Okay, so we need to have some blood sugar. That gives us energy to do things. So over here we have a man who has a hot air balloon and he's blowing the flames with the hot air and he's increasing, over here it says blood glucose, but it's like the hot air balloon, the hot air for a balloon. You need to have that blood glucose to give us the energy that we need. And monitoring our blood sugar tells us, you know, we look for patterns that way. Again, like when I said in the morning, you want your blood sugar between 80 and 140. And if it is below that, then maybe you needed more food at dinner in the evening. If it's above that, then maybe you had too much food in the evening. or you may have had too little, and then in the middle of the night, your liver gave you a whole bunch of sugar. So, you look at the different patterns in the morning, look at the different patterns at night. If you can go to bed with a blood sugar of 120, 140, that's nice. It's a couple hours after dinner. If you're going to go to bed at 80, that might be a little bit too low. And again, your liver will save your life and pump all this blood sugar in you. And then in the middle of the night, you might have a blood sugar of over 200 and you wake up at 170 and you're like, I don't know why. So try to have, your blood sugar between whatever is good for you, but generally between 100 and 140. If you're closer to 110, 120, that sounds good too. Blood sugar, I talked about our targets, between 80 and 140. You can check, they call it fasting when it's first thing in the morning before you've had anything to eat. You can check just before your meals. If your blood sugar is 150 and you're about to have lunch, you don't need to have so many carbs. You don't need to have so much lunch. This is one way you can help if you want to lose weight. Don't have such big portions if your blood sugar is higher before a meal. But if your blood sugar is only 140 or 120 or 85, sure, have a nice hearty breakfast. Having a hearty breakfast and a lunch, our digestive system works so much better that way. If you're going to skip breakfast to have a little snack for lunch and then have most of your meal at the end of the day, that's how the sumo wrestlers in Japan get so huge. And the same thing with the VA hospital. I worked there for a couple months, and these vets would come in, their BMI, their body mass index is very low, like 19. You want it to be around 25, 27. When they come in at 19, we can't let them leave the hospital until they're in the 20s. What did we do? We fed them at night. So yeah, they had omelets for breakfast and hamburgers for lunch, pork chops for dinner. And then 7 o'clock, we'd come by with the pie and the high protein ice cream and all this Jello and all these things. So you want to gain weight, eat more in the evening, a lot of protein and that kind of thing. If you want to lose weight, eat more of your food from breakfast and lunch. You want to ruin your dinner so that you have just, a cup of soup and a salad. And that would be great. Have some beans in the soup or some quinoa in the salad or whatever. Leftovers are great over a salad, but you want to have only 2 or 3 ounces of it, less than a half a cup. You don't want to pile it on at the end of the day. But that does take some work. All of this, adding vegetables to your diet, having more food for breakfast and lunch, less for dinner. These are all big lifestyle changes. It sounds simple. It took my husband and I about a year to figure this out with the kids in college. So even going to a plant-based diet, I've done this and I love it. So much more variety, a lot more flavors. When we just get back to plain old, chicken and steak is just not as exciting as a meal as these more complex vegetarian options. So something to think about. But again, I don't promote going vegan. That is not my rule at all. It's mostly, let's just get more nutrition into you and more fiber and more plants. Let's see. So we got the blood glucose targets. We have the options for the monitoring. I know people who their blood sugar every morning is pretty much the same. Their A1C is, less than 7.5. It isn't that crucial for them. But if you're between 7.5 and 8, and you're trying your A1C and you're trying to get your blood sugar down, that's when you really need to concentrate on manage having a log and looking for patterns and all of that kind of thing. Many people who are just starting out, they go to these classes, so I need to talk to them about a log that you can use. Let's see. High blood sugar, here it says 130 before meals. We found out it's actually 140. So we want to, like I said, if you have a high blood sugar and it's time to eat, you're going to have a smaller portion. Maybe you're going to have more water, but you don't need to have a blood sugar around 200 for any reason. So higher than 180 2 hours after your meal, maybe you had a higher blood portion. The other thing is fats, oils and fats, like whether you're doing a pesto with some olive oil, or you're sauteing vegetables with, coconut oil, or you're having a fried chicken, or you have Chinese food. Now, Chinese food can be very deceptive. They use a lot of sesame oil. It's just, you don't realize how much oil can be in that. The first thing the oil does when it gets in your tongue and you swallow it, goes right into your bloodstream, goes right into the insulin receptors. So then all the insulin comes, it can't get in there. So then all the sugar stays in your bloodstream. So watch out for the oily foods. I would, put the napkin on the pizza and drain all of that grease out of there. But just so you know, if you do have a food that is a little greasier than you thought, a little more oil in it than you thought, your blood sugar is not going to go up within a half an hour of the meal. It's not even going to go up within an hour. It might even be over 2 hours before your blood sugar starts to go up. So if you are on insulin, you definitely want to delay taking that insulin, because if you're eating your food and your blood sugar doesn't go up, your insulin goes up and it comes back down, and then your sugar goes up. There's no insulin for it. So if you know that you're going to have a greasy food, you're going to, have your sugar's going to wait to go up. And just before it goes up, then you take your insulin, and then it can go down, and it'll bring it down. You like that little hand movement there? So it's an idea. But if you're going to have a greasier food, I would recommend taking it in the middle of the day instead of in the evening. That way you'll have at least the evening to wear off that blood sugar. But something to think about. I don't want to make your life too complicated. When you have greasy foods, you're just going to end up with high blood sugar and delay taking if you have fast acting insulin. It says here, treatment for high blood sugar, drink extra water or sugar-free fluids. Actually, I would stay away from any artificial sweetener. If it says fat-free, if it says sugar-free, if it's a processed protein bar, these foods are very hard on our gut biome. In our stomach and our intestines, we have bacteria, and they help us digest vitamin K, along with a whole bunch of other vitamin B12 and D, a whole bunch of things. They get more nutrition out of our food that we eat than what we can absorb just through our intestines. They balance our hormones. They are 70% of our immune system, especially right now in the pandemic. So we want to have a nice, healthy community, and that means they thrive on vegetable fibers. So the more vegetables you eat, the better your gut biome is. And also they are hurt by the processed foods and the fillers and the chemicals, the artificial sweeteners, and all of these kind of things. So if you're going to have pancakes for breakfast, let's do protein pancakes. Let's have, some berries on them instead of syrup. Or if you are going to have syrup, just have 2 tablespoons and know that you're going to go for a walk afterwards. Drink plenty of water with that. Or herbal tea in the morning. You don't have to have, straight water in the morning. Coffee, herbal tea, seltzer water, all of these are non-sugar things. If you really need to have some orange juice, I would just have 4 ounces of it, and I would dilute it with some seltzer or some water, just so that you're not having such a concentrated carbohydrate go in. So drink extra water. Adjust your meal plan. Again, you want to have something within 2 hours of waking up. You want to have something in the middle of the day, and you want to have something at the end of the day, 4 hours before you go to bed. That way your body has consistent food for like the whole day, as opposed to having nothing to eat at all. And then at dinner, you have this huge meal, and, your body can't take it. So it's better to have a bigger breakfast and lunch. And I do understand that is a hard, United States, we are not eat like a king for breakfast and a prince for lunch and a pauper for dinner. No, we're kings all day long. Let's just face facts. So this is a chart about your A1C. If your A1C is 6%, just in the pre-diabetes section, your average blood sugar is 126. If your A1C is 7, then your average blood sugar is 154. So if your blood A1C is 8, then your average blood sugar is 183 average. So that is a pretty high blood sugar. Some people have an A1C of 10. So they're looking at their blood sugars all the time around 240. So we really want to keep our blood sugar at 7.5. Your average is 169. So that's not too bad. But you don't want to have skipping your meals. If you don't have time to eat something in the morning, then just have like a handful of nuts and some berries. The blueberries are always buy one, get one free. If you can't have nuts, peanut butter on apple is good. Just get yourself, a little something to shut your body down so that it won't think you're starving to death. Just give it a little something, but you want to eat your breakfast within 2 hours of waking up. Illness, if you are on different insulins where you take them in the morning, you take them with meals, and you take them at night, these different pills, Even if you have a stomach bug and you're not eating, you still want to take your medicine just like you normally do. It is amazing. I wore a Dexcom to see how my blood sugar was. I don't have diabetes, but I just wanted to know. And every day I would come home from work around 5 o'clock and I would have a snack. And on the weekends, I'm wearing the Dexcom and I'm not having my snack. My blood sugar goes up at 5 o'clock. So even though you aren't eating, your body will still make your blood sugar go up at those particular times. So try to, always take your medicine, even if you're not eating. And drink lots of water. If you can drink a glass of water every hour, that again helps wash that sugar out of your bloodstream. Holidays and special occasions, plan for it. You're going to have cake after dinner. Don't have any carbohydrates with your dinner and have that cake right after your meal. Then your insulin that your pancreas gives you, or the medicine or whatever it is, can work right on that food together. But don't say, oh, I have diabetes, I can't have cake, because then the person who made the cake is going to feel bad. It. So again, if you're going to have cake, then you're going to have the vegetables and the protein, but you're just not going to have the potatoes and the bread. And then you can have the cake later, and try to keep it as close to the meal as you can. Stress, that's a tough one. Stress definitely raises our blood sugar. So if something is not working out, try to get it to be worked out. Try to find a healthy coping strategy, whether it's listening to music, going for a walk, the grateful prayer, talking to others about it. But trying to get the stress resolved is the best thing. I've had a few people have to change their jobs because their jobs were killing them. The stress was so high, it was making their blood sugar so high, they just couldn't manage it with medicine. So look at your stress and know that that's a big part of it. Travel and vacation, try to keep to the same schedule. I know that we're not traveling, so you don't have to worry about that. But under special occasions, we might eat more for Thanksgiving, or Valentine's Day is coming up. If you're going to you're going to have some Valentine's chocolate and candy with your sweeties, make sure you're going for a walk just to burn that off, do a little bit more exercise. But I'm not one that says no chocolate for you, you have diabetes, no cake for you, no ice cream. Absolutely not. We're going to incorporate it as the carb of the meal, and we are going to drink more and exercise more to wash that out of our bloodstream. On target with your blood glucose, again, that's keeping within target range of, before you have a meal, between 80 and 140, and then 2 hours after the meal, you want it to be under 180. And just make sure you're in touch with your doctor and your lifestyle and everything like that. When they say diet and lifestyle, they mean they want you to eat more vegetables and be more active, drink plenty of water. So the doctors never really come into that thing. There are a number of nutrition news, and we have about 20 minutes. I'd like to go over a couple of them. I get emails, several of them every day. Oh, was there any questions with what I've gone over before? It's kind of repetitive. Okay.
No.
That's great. That's great. So
I think we have one.
You have a question? Yep.
Yes, I want to ask you about diabetes and getting the vaccine shot. I've been seeing some stuff that some of the places, they're not really factoring in if you have diabetes versus people that don't have diabetes. And
that's a very good question.
Have you seen? I mean, you hear that they're trying to push out people that are kind of a little bit older, older like me, and have diabetes. But I don't know, I don't know. I haven't got the vaccine. I live in the city, so
yeah.
I don't know.
The thing with COVID is it's a disease that causes a lot of inflammation. It targets our immune system and makes our immune system go crazy with inflammation. So the people who don't have a good immune system, they are older in life. So they've targeted as 75 years old or higher. They've also, well, anyway, so 75 years old and higher. And then the second group that they're very concerned about is anyone who has inflammation, and that is everyone who has obesity. So if the BMI is over 30, you qualify with the 75 and older group. So I know a few people who are not, well, right now I think they're still finishing up with the medical group, but people in the medicine field, but the next one is 75 or older and with inflammation, so that's obesity. So diabetes, kidney disease, heart disease, anti-immune, HIV and all these cancer. Nope, they don't count. They don't cause the inflammation that obesity causes. So yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, so the main people that they're looking for is over 75 and obese. I think then they're going to have some chronic disease people, but I think those go in with college kids because they can't keep their hands off each other and stop breathing on each other and getting everybody sick. Teachers are also in that category of essential workers. So I think that is it the essential workers with a 75 and over. I'm not sure. I know Montgomery County is a little bit like Philadelphia. That's different than everybody else too. So the best thing, Google your county. If it's Philadelphia County, Google. Is it Philly in COVID? There's something like that, but it is changing every week, and I can't keep track of it. But yeah, over 75, and the best thing to do is look at it. So
Hi, I just
hi,
want to
look at me,
reiterate.
nice.
Hi, I just want to reiterate something. For what he asked about diabetes, I'm
Yes,
scheduled tomorrow, and
great.
I'm under 75. I am type 2, and there is a question on the questionnaire about type 2 diabetes as well as overweight and compromised immune system.
Good.
So
Thank you
they
for
need to
telling
just
us.
check that out, and that's considered the 1B category, which they're doing now.
Yep.
So they can register now for that if you're in Philadelphia County.
Good. Thank you so much. And
No
also,
problem.
they say they don't want you to take pain reliever. If you're going to take a pain reliever, it's got to be the acetaminophen, the Tylenol. So don't take the ibuprofen, the Motrin, or the Aleve. They make it worse. And from what I understand, I had the shot and I had incredible pain. I could hardly walk, my hips, my feet, everything. First 10, 12 hours, no pain at all. Not even my arm hurt. And then after that, I had 12 hours. I started with a headache, and then it just, my jaw, my shoulders, my back, everything just hurt. But we didn't have any Tylenol in the house, and I wasn't going to the store. Within 12 hours, it was completely fine, and I could get back to knocking down our bathroom, plugging everything out of the house. But yeah, it was amazing. 12 hours of intense pain. So I did talk to some other people who took the acetaminophen, the Tylenol, and they were having pain for 24 hours. So it was a duller pain, but I could sleep through it. I didn't have a fever. Some people had fevers, some people had more pain, but I understand that if you don't take the medicine and if you can not take the medicine, that will make that pain period go shorter. But definitely, it's got to only be acetaminophen. It can't be any other medication. But like I said, get on that website, so that you can schedule your appointment as soon as possible. Because as soon as the next group opens up, it's going to be a floodgate, and you're not going to get it for a while. So I'm glad that you got it. I'm glad. Is there another question? Okay.
What could you tell me? What she went on to a city website? Because it's been very difficult.
Yeah.
She within over.
Yes, it was Philly.gov, and then they had something for COVID in there.
Philly.gov and something for
right.
And MR, you sound familiar, but I don't. Can you tell me your name?
Sure, Marcella Rice.
Oh, hi, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, no problem.
Thank you for the questions, and thank you for the advice about the vaccination, because a lot of people are worried about it, but honestly, this is not a vaccination that they've been working on for 11 months. This has been going on since the 1990s with SARS. The COVID vaccine, the COVID bug virus is a version of SARS back in the 1990s. So they've been working on this messenger RNA stuff for a very long time. And when you get the vaccination, the messenger RNA gives you the protein for the antibodies. It doesn't give you a live version of the virus like what they were doing with the flu. I don't know if the flu still does that, but just so you know, you're not getting the COVID virus when you are getting this vaccination. Yeah, get it. My next one is just before Valentine's Day. No hugging.
I do have a question. I'm sorry. I'm not sure who asked for the website, but if they have an email address and they put it in the chat, I'll just link it for them so they can just go right on and register.
Yeah, if you move your mouse to the bottom, then all these things come up on Zoom, and you'll see the little chat box. And thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miss Rice. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Let's see. Is there any? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover on that. No. I did something about artificial sweeteners. Study ties sucrose sweetened drinks to weight gain. Adults who consume drinks sweetened with sucrose produced lower amounts of hunger suppressing hormones. So when they're hungry and they got a drink of something sweet, it just made them hungrier compared to those who consume drinks without the glucose. According to a journal in the Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism magazine or journal. The findings based on data from 69 adults aged 18 to 35. So 69 is not that many people. I'd like to see 6,000 people, but also revealed that people with obesity and lower insulin sensitivity had a lower increase in hunger suppressing hormones after consuming the artificial sweetener drinks as opposed to drinking the sugar sweetened drinks. So a little bit of sugar is better for you than this artificial sweetener, and a little bit of sugar will calm down your hunger too. But I would rather you had lunch or breakfast instead of having a seltzer with some orange juice in it. Oh, RDN says, don't skip on beans just because of the gassiness. Registered dietitian, nutritionist, and fellow of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. She says that beans should not be avoided because they cause flatulence in some people. Beans are a low-cost, plant-based source of protein that help lower cholesterol levels, decrease chronic disease risk, and they are slowly incorporating more and more beans into your diet, into your salads, and into your soups, into your dinners, can help your body adjust to their high fiber and fiber content. And also, when you do have a lot of beans and you have that gassiness, that is the bugs increasing. So the community is growing, and all of that change for the better. Having gases shows that your biome community is getting stronger. So farting is good. So farting is good. Let's see. Some other ones that I have that I wanted to point out are, vitamin D deficiency can raise your COVID-19 risk. So vitamin D deficiency was linked with nearly 5 times higher likelihood of getting positive test for COVID-19, according to a study in the Journal of Nutrition. The association decreased, but still persisted after adjustments for race, diabetes, tooth decay, and obesity were made. So vitamin D is very important for helping you fight the COVID bug. Also say, nutrition experts discuss the benefits of a plant-based diet. So this is plant-based, not a vegan. So you're having fish a couple times a week. You might have eggs a couple times a week, maybe a little bit of cheese, but mostly you're going to be doing, the hummus and the falafel and bean soup and having, there's a lot of tofu and seitan and tempeh sausages combinations, such as the Impossible Burger and Beyond Meat, and there's a Gimme Lean sausage. They have very low chemicals. They're just different proteins from, again, soy and wheat, and it's a very good thing. Okay, so look at the plant-based diet. Eating foods mostly or entirely from plants, minimally processed foods such as vegetables, fruits, grains, legumes, seeds, and nuts is a basic foundation for a plant-based diet. It doesn't have to eliminate all meat, poultry, and fish. They are all good options. The dietitian said that the diet benefits on all aspects of your health, including better metabolic profiles. So your metabolism increases. Fasting blood glucose is lower. Your blood pressure is lower, reduced circulating blood lipids, such as your cholesterol is lower, and even a healthier skin. You need less sleep, and your brain is clear, all kinds of things. The Harvard professor Deirdre Tobias said the diet may be lower risk for diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and other chronic illnesses. So definitely take a look at your vegetables. So I had a question here about Victoza, and let's see. Explain the difference, what Victoza does, and Tresiba and Metformin too. Okay, so these medications, the Metformin, oops, let me get this off my screen so I can see you guys. So Metformin, that makes your liver give you the sugar that you need. and not excess. Some people have diabetes where their liver just gives them a lot of sugar all day long. Metformin cuts that back so that you just get what you need. If you have high blood sugar and you take a metformin pill, it will do nothing. This is preventative. So it just works on how the liver works, and it makes the liver just give you the sugar that you need. Like at nighttime when you're sleeping, you're not eating. So your body does need to have some sugar for your lungs and your heart and your brain. Metformin keeps that is what you need, but gets rid of the excess. The Trulicity is a GLP-1, and the GLP-1 is going to it acts like insulin in that it makes insulin last longer in your system. It delays stomach emptying so that you feel full longer. It delays glucagon, which takes the sugar out of your muscles and put it in your bloodstream. So the GLP-1, the Trulicity keeps the sugar from going into your bloodstream that way from your muscles. There's some other things that it does, but basically it makes insulin last longer, and it slows your digestion, and it slows sugar from coming in from your liver and your muscles. So, and that was the Trulicity. And Victoza actually is the same thing, and Victoza is the same thing. So it's a GLP-1 that does that. What else is in that category? Ozempic, Trulicity, Bydureon, Victoza, Byetta, Symlin, those are all the same GLP-1 medications. And the metformin is a big one, and it basically just, the only thing with metformin, you do have to look at your B12, make sure that you don't have low B12. But I can get into the medicines on another visit, but is there any other medicine questions? Okay. Some things I do want to talk about. Oh, I did talk about the gut biome, because that is what we're going for. A healthy gut biome keeps us healthy from getting the COVID vaccine or any other diseases. It helps us sleep better. That helps us get, better rest is just a really great thing. So if you're not getting good sleep, let's look at ways that we can improve your sleeping situation, whether it's a cooler room, a darker room, no LED lights, or having a screen on your partner's laptop or whatever. And I also wanted to talk about exercise. You do not want to exercise if you have not eaten a meal yet. So first thing in the morning, if you start exercising, your body is in a ghrelin mode. Ghrelin is a hormone that we have when we're hungry. And when we're in haven't eaten for 4 or 6 hours, your body will not burn fat. It will actually burn your muscles. So it'll take your muscles away, and it will not use your fat. If you have a little something to eat, some nuts and some berries, maybe a granola bar, if you're going to go for a walk, or we never go to the gym anymore. But if you're going to do something active like shovel snow, and say you had oatmeal, that's a great thing. That has lots of carbohydrates in it, and you'll have the energy to shovel the snow. Definitely take in layers, because it's very heavy right now. And this leptin mode happens from when you eat to 4 hours after you've eaten. I wouldn't push it though. If you're going to shovel snow and you've not eaten for 3 hours, I would say, have something else to eat, whether it's some apple and peanut butter, some granola bars, lunch. Lunch is a great thing to have. As you can see, I'm kind of hungry right now. It's going on 1 o'clock. But this ghrelin and the leptin. So when you're hungry and you haven't eaten for 4 or 5 hours, this is not the time to work out. You will only burn through your muscles, and muscles, are a fountain of youth. When you get sick, that's what they go after first. Muscles burn fat when you're sleeping. Muscle helps us avoid injury, because we're strong enough that we won't fall over. We have a good balance. So keeping active twice a day is my goal for everybody. 10, 15, 20 minutes in the morning, and same thing after dinner. You want to do it in the afternoon too, yay. But being flexible, keeping your joints moving, standing up, that is all great things. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. So today is the first Wednesday of the month. Next Wednesday is going to be the second, and we're going to go more into food. Although I'm still going to talk about diabetes, and like with this class here, I've talked a lot about food too. I am a dietitian, so it's kind of food is on my mind. But it's a joy to see everybody today. Happy February. I guess yesterday was Groundhog Day, and I think that he saw his shadow, but I think it's every time he sees a shadow. So 6 more weeks of beautiful winter, right? I don't know, but it's great to see everybody. And so about 1 o'clock right now. Again, if you want to contact me, I'm Kirsten Puskar. My phone number is 215-527-4193. I can do some personal nutrition counseling that is paid for by your insurance, whether it's Medicare or commercial. I love working at Center on the Hill. I think they have a lot of great programs. Take a look at their website and see if there's other things you want to see. But it's a joy to have everybody here with diabetes nutrition. And again, I'll see you again next Wednesday. If you're interested in more of the food aspect of it. And yeah, I'm just doing it for the first 2 Wednesdays. But it's great to see everybody. So have a great day.